Hey everybody, welcome back to Student Connection. This week, I want to kind of give you parents an update of where we are in our Sunday morning Bible study with our students as we are preparing to go back to school just in a few short weeks. And I know if people not in Texas, but in other states, they've already started back. So students, be thankful that you still got another couple of weeks before you jump back into it. But just as I did at the beginning of the summer, I want to encourage you, students and parents, to prepare yourself to go back to school. Now, at this point, parents, you're like, I'm just ready for them to go. Summertime always comes with students at home, and your grocery bill increases, your air conditioner is running nonstop, and things like that. And it's good. It's okay. That's part of life. Grateful that they can do those things. But also, we think about preparing for the summer. You know, we get toward the end of the semester in the spring and we're like, oh, the summer's coming. I got to get ready for all my vacations and all my trips and everything that summer brings, or sports, whatever happens, you're preparing for it. But I think a lot of times by the end of the summer, we're just worn out. Parents, students, teachers, we're just worn out. And we come to a point where the first couple weeks just kind of limp along, we drag along because we're not prepared. And that's anything. It's not just with school, it's anything in life if we don't go ahead and look ahead. So over the last couple weeks, and this past Sunday was our third week in the study, and the students and I have been looking at Jesus and culture, and how if we want to make a difference in our culture, we need to make a stand, not only for what we believe in, not just putting down our flag and saying we're not giving, but learning how to live in our culture is what I've challenged our students to do, because our culture will change, but as long as we're on the earth, we are going to have to live within it. So we can make a difference for Christ while living in it. And so this past Sunday, we looked at a passage in Matthew chapter 9, and I found it so fitting. I wanted to share it with you this morning. And students, so if you were here Sunday, students, gives you a little insight into it, and parents, if they didn't tell you right away about what you studied or what they studied, this is what we looked at. So Matthew chapter 9, look in verse 9, and this is when Jesus was calling the disciples. It says, Jesus went on from there. He saw a man named Matthew sitting in the tax collector's booth, and he said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed him. Then it happened that as Jesus was reclining at the table in the house, behold, many tax collectors and sinners came in there and were dining with Jesus and his disciples. When the Pharisees saw this, they said to his disciples, "Why is your teacher eating with the tax collectors and sinners?" But when Jesus heard this, he said, "It is not those who are healthy who need a physician, but those who are sick. But go and learn what this means. I desire compassion and not sacrifice, for I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners." And so when we see that, we hear that in Jesus, hear that from his voice, and we read it in Scripture. It should point us in the direction of, as students, as we're preparing to go back to school. You may have had an incredible summer, and the Lord may have drawn you close, and you've grown in your walk with him. Now's the time, a few weeks out, to be preparing yourself to relay that with your classmates that you're going to see. If you haven't already been preparing, because it's not something that we spend our summer, because summers, like I've shared in earlier videos, we think about summer camp and the hype that comes with that, and we can separate ourselves from our normal routine to learn more with Jesus, to grow in that relationship. And so the flip side of that is we need to do something with it. We need to go out, and God sends us out where he has us planted. And if he wants us somewhere else, he moves us there. And so when we think about that, there are people around us that would be looked at as the Pharisees looked at tax collectors. In some versions of the Bible, it has sinners in quotes, because you have Matthew writing this, and he's a tax collector, and so he's saying it as viewed by the Pharisees. Like, why is your master sitting with these sinners? He's doing it because, as Jesus puts, the sick, the healthy don't need a physician. The sick need a physician, and we can be that for people around us. God desires to use us in a way that can point people to Him, lead people to Him, and it's all different levels. From it's We might think as small as an encouragement to you're getting to sit down, and you're getting to share the gospel with someone who needs to hear it, who needs to understand that saving power of Jesus. And so we need to be prepared for that. Students, you need to be prepared for that. Parents, you also need to be prepared for it. How can you be an encouragement to your student that you may drop off at school and they're not around you for 7 or 8 hours a day, and preparing them to deal with things in this world. And so, parents, you also have to be prepared for that. Be an encouragement to your students, having that biblical worldview, like here that Jesus is showing us. That we are to take the good news out. We are to help those who need it. Like Jesus compared a physician to sick people. We are those who do the will of God while we're here on this earth. And so I encourage you, be in the Word, spend time in prayer, and not just by yourself. Pray for other people and pray with other people. That's one of the strongest things we can do as believers is continue to pray for each other, pray with each other, and see what the Lord has in store for us. There's so much strength that comes from prayer, and that'll have to be something we talk about another day, because it's so good. We'd spend all day talking about it, and that's not a bad thing. Um, so I encourage you, prepare yourself now, students, especially for what you're going to encounter on in your campuses, on in your classes. What you kind of have an idea of what's coming, but prepare yourself to be that physician to those who need you.